Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis presents Anime Rigamortis, featuring those boys from the only comedy Dragon Ball podcast in the universe, so saith Slenderman, Aaron and Vince from Kame House Party.
Hello.
Oh, and hello.
Slenderman. That's high praise from Slenderman.
I know. I feel like Slenderman is a very, very choosy critic. Doesn't come out with his opinions much, but I'll take it.
At the same time,
How does he talk anyway?
he
He doesn't have a mouth.
he tweets a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
you're not on Apple Podcasts because Slenderman has put in the work on the reviews.
Oh god. And of course I'm review host. Hi. So yeah, it's an Anime Rigamortis episode. I was able to wrangle the guys back on to discuss a anime that I think we've mentioned in one of the previous ones, but if not, like you guys introduced me to this one. We are going to be touching on Deca-Dence, a very interesting anime that likes to flip its premise on its head.
Oh,
Yeah, when it first came out, there's at least 4 people that I know that I actively got to watch this because I was yelling about it for a couple weeks.
On
he
the
really
Twitch
was.
stream. Yeah.
He was yelling every time we recorded. And then sometimes when we weren't recording, Aaron would just show up on my hey, have you watched Deca-Dence?
Hey.
Are you watching? It's so good. You should watch it. Just watch the first 2 episodes. Then tell me if you like it or not. After that, it doesn't matter.
Aaron was Navi is like, hey, listen, check out this Deca-Dence. Hello.
And it didn't help that I couldn't tell anyone anything about it.
I
Because
know.
that was the whole appeal. It's just I have to matrix you. Here, just take this pill into my spooky, dilapidated apartment building.
Don't worry about it.
I need
Trust
you to
me.
touch this mirror, slide down a tube.
Go to Wonderland.
Yeah.
Spoilers ahead. Whoever's listening to to repeat, Aaron, go check out Deca-Dence, people. If you have
No, just first 2 episodes. That's it. I think you can.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll spoil the whole thing, but
we're spoiling the whole. We have to.
Yeah.
Most of my notes are about the series as a whole. So,
But before we get into those, if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it, please. It's worth your time to watch those first 2 episodes, if nothing else. But then
decide if you want to come back.
and then come back, and then just do that. We'll wait.
Yep. Guys, I don't think they're coming back.
they took their jacket. So
Oh crap! Jacket and umbrella, they're not coming back.
Damn it. All right, we'll just go with it. So to kind of give like a general thing for it. So the anime combines the themes from like Mortal Engine, Attack on Titan, and a little dash of both Avatar, the James Cameron film, not Last Airbender, and Starship Troopers to a degree. It's basically a YA novel, the anime. It starts with a post-apocalyptic setting where 90% of the population of Earth is destroyed in like a far future by these creatures known as the Gadol, and the survivors live in this mobile fortress with a giant cannon that they like move around the Eurasian continent, and they use like anti-gravity tech and harpoons to siphon the blood of the Gadol to fuel their technology. And that's in the first episode. You gotta get the gist of all that. And then episode 2 comes around. It's episode 2 that we get the big reveal, right? Or is it the end of episode 2?
they waste no time. There's a hint at the end of episode 1. Just because I distinctly remember, I think I yelled out "what" out loud to myself alone, and then immediately watched the next episode because they do the flip soon right then.
Yeah. So so episode 1 and 2, we focus on this girl,
Natsume.
Natsume, yeah. And it's kind of like again, why I said YA novel is it's kind of like her she lost her arm at a young age, and lost her father because of an incident out in the wastelands because of the Gadol. And now it's like a couple years later, and she's trying to she strives to be in the warrior caste or the hunter caste. But she gets designated to basically cleaning the outside of Deca-Dence, the mobile fortress. And it's there that she meets her supervisor, Kaburagi, or Kaburaji?
Kaburagi, yeah.
Kaburagi, yeah. And I think they also, in the first episode, we also introduced to Pipe, correct? The little...
I think so, right? It's in that initial meeting with Kaburagi that Pipe is like discovered by Natsume.
Yeah, and it's just like, what? Oh, it's a Gadol that doesn't hurt people. It's like because it's clearly of Gadol design, what it is. But it's like a little puppy base. It's like a little pug in
like
Gadol form.
A pug bug, I would say, like a little pupa little thing. Very cute. Deserves all the plushie love. So if nobody's making that Deca-Dence plushie, TM, I'm a cop that.
Yeah. They'd be fools to not have merchandise of this little thing. And yeah, a lot of stuff happens in this first 2 episodes of the show, and then she's getting trained by Kaburagi, Kaburagi, right? Yes, Kaburagi, because it's revealed that he was actually a former hunter class, and so like she strives to be like to try and get into the warrior class sort of thing, and things are looking up. Things like she improves, she excels through hard work and training. And then episode 2 drops, and we get a very interesting twist where turns out the post-apocalypse. I mean, it's still post-apocalypse, I guess, if you think about it. But the world that Natsume lives in, and like where all of humanity lives in, is actually like a real life video game for cyborgs who are in charge of the rest of the planet. And the continent they live on is just like a cordoned off like dome that that they is their play zone basically. Yeah. And like there are among the survivors of humanity, there are people who are like avataring into bodies. These cyborgs are like kind of jacking into bodies, or sleeving into them, and and playing among the humans. So quickly becomes kind of a subversive, like what is like reality sort of thing, and also breaking down the system, because the system is like kind of set on maintaining this kind of prison for humanity as as the cyborgs like game, or like it's basically like an MMO or video game for the cyborgs.
Oh yeah, and the cyborgs they look as they're so cute. It's like a mix of Minion and like weird robot design, and they all like are colorful. Like it's reds, blues, green. Everybody looks different. No 2 cyborgs look the same.
The animation style or the art style for the cyborg world and the cyborgs themselves is drastically different from the human world, basically. And I liked how they did that, where it's like they really add like a contrast to like, yes, this is like in the human setting, and then like we have the cyborg setting, which is a lot more like vibrant and colorful, whereas the human side is a little bit more kind of earthy and like more like almost like a traditional I guess anime series from like the early 2000s, whereas this one's very much like kind of almost like the Summer War avatars, if you guys ever saw the Summer Wars anime film.
Yes.
Or like the internet sections or segments of the Digimon movie.
That I know.
Yeah, it's by the same director of like those sections of the Digimon movie. Went on to make basically the same plot as Digimon movie, but his own IP version of it. But yeah, same kind of like art style, similar kind of art style, like the very cartoonish, like you said, Minions designs, like almost like cutesy designs, but and then like it contrasts with the more like proportionate, more like proper perspective for the human character thing. And yeah, Kaburagi is a cyborg who slips into a human shell and learns that the system of his cyborg society is wrong for doing what they've been doing to humans and such, and decides to just tear it down with the help of an unsuspecting Natsume. Because like it's very like early on that they don't like, because like he kind of leaves her in the dark up until the mind blowing reveal that she gets that her whole world is a lie.
Yeah, for sure. I think it I don't want to say that it's simple, but the plot is very much like it feels like Kaburagi just decides like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to tear it all down. You're either with me or against me. And he just like continues that level, like that slow rise of like, I'm no matter what happens, my goal is to ruin this whole thing for everybody.
Yeah. It's like consequences be damned. Like, God, that once the scene where he like where he, what is it? Like he basically clears the board of all Godal, including poor little Pipe. That is the most heartbreaking fucking thing. Like they gave us a sympathy pet in that show.
Hated that.
Yeah,
that was not fun.
And because they don't show it. It's not like, well, here's a scene of Pipe like suddenly falling over.
No,
disintegrating. Thank God they don't. It's
so much worse though.
Yeah, it's all implied, and
they just cut back to like a collar on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, because it's like almost like I think that's worse because like it to me like there was a moment in my head is like, well, maybe he's still out there somewhere. Maybe he just took off the collar. no, cultist. He's dead. He's gone.
Well, I was hoping. I was like, oh, because they also talk about like part of Kaburagi's job given to him by the system is to find bugs in the system and terminate, right? And bugs in the system could be, I think it's supposed to be humans who are going against their programming or other things like that. Yeah, that he's doing like in secret.
Because that's covered. That's kind of shown in I think the first episode where like he's like when he's off his day job, he goes out into the night and like starts stalking people like a serial killer.
Yeah.
And then I think Natsume sees him do like in the act of it and thinks that he's like some kind of murderer, but really he's just like a debugger.
Yeah,
like he's
an in-game debugger. He's like an Activision admin who's playing Call of Duty.
He's quality assurance.
Yeah,
he's a QA.
Because I thought because Pipe was like technically a bug, maybe he wouldn't have gotten wiped with all the other Godal, the Godal, and it was so sad when it was revealed he did not. Work Pipe.
It was almost again closer to the ending. We get like kind of a bittersweet moment where like Natsume has like a keychain or like a little a pin or something like that on her car or on her vehicle that is of Pipe, and I was like, first off, that's merchandising right there. But secondly,
speaking of merchandising, Aaron dropped some link that I'm going to spend too much money on in the chat.
AliExpress is legit, right?
But yeah, so yeah, everything's all like an illusion. Like human existence in this series is an illusion. Effectively, it's just like we are but NPCs and game assets for a cyborg society.
I think everything. Yeah, I think an aspect that that really put him over the top for me was that there's a lot of commercialism. There's a lot of like anti-capitalist, I think, sentiment. It somewhat more, but more so anti-establishment. So the first half of the show is Natsume going like, I want to join the Gears. I don't want to defeat all the Godal, because if we destroy all the Godal, then we'll be free and we can leave Deca-Dence and we can like actually not just be in a dumb fortress all the time.
Yeah, we can live and not just we can thrive and not just live.
Yeah, and so they're like on the human side, they think, oh, we found the mother of all the Godals, and if we can defeat this, we'll be good to go. Behind the scenes in the cyborg world, this is just an event.
Yeah,
it's just a special event.
Yeah, they're all waiting at the gates of what the hell's that World of Warcraft desert zone, Silithus, waiting for the gate to open so they can go and fight Nergal.
Yeah, this is hot DLC. This is once in a lifetime drops. Mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna speed past some of it, but like Natsume and Kaburagi, they kind of come together and do the impossible, which is defeat this boss, which is not what it was designed to do. And by defeating that boss, like all the humans are like, oh, we're free. We did it. We defeated this. We're good to go. Like, we can leave Deca-Dence now. All of a sudden, the weird hologram that the cyborgs have over the Earth lifts up, revealing more content. An expansion pack, more things to fight. And the humans are like, all the like cyborgs who are playing are like, oh fuck yes, this rules. I can't wait till next month. I'm gonna take off work for that weekend so I can play this. And the humans are like, they don't know what to do. They don't understand. They thought they had won, and that victory was ripped away from them. And like, the fact that happened so early on, because this could have been the end. They're like, no, this is kind of like the middle, and we're gonna go beyond that. Is like so impressive to me. This show kept, again, I hope you watched, but this show like keeps giving out these great surprises without being that are intertwined and make sense without being too JJ mystery box garbage.
We actually get like a decent reveal when it happens. For me, like one of the greatest scenes of this show is when they go to the Gadol facility. And again, Natsume at this point is still not in the know that her entire world and existence is but a game. And then when it's revealed that it is a game to her, you can literally see the moment where she had to roll a sanity check in the Call of Cthulhu game to realize that her entire existence is insignificant and to a higher power. And you can literally see the fight, flight, or freeze moment to her.
And I think those moments are so like rewarding in the way that Natsume handles them, because she she freezes and then she's like, well, okay, but I'm on your side, Kaburagi, right? Like we're doing it, right? We're still gonna do this. I'm just like, oh, this Natsume is terrifying. Like she's very, very like that kind of singular focus that a lot of shonen characters have. But just given like the scope that her mind has been expanded, she's like, Kaburagi's my friend. That's all I need, I guess. All right, let's do this thing. It's like, oh God, no. I hope nothing bad happens to you.
Just focusing in on that so that the sanity stays intact.
Exactly. I think that's how I would have to deal with it. If now somebody told me, hey, Vince, all this stuff that you've been doing, people have just been using you for leveling in their weird RPG. And I'm like, okay, but I still have my podcast friends, don't I? They're like, I guess, but like your world doesn't exist anymore. I can still podcast. Okay, I'm gonna still do podcasts. Okay.
No, legit. Focus on. It's like, all right, well, that's too big for my right now. I'm just gonna focus on to stay sane. I'm gonna focus on my local environment, my local situation. I feel like that's definitely that's almost like Red Markets-y kind of like for their stress mechanics. Just like focus on your dependence, or I guess for like in Delta Green it would be like hold on to your bonds sort of thing.
Yeah, there's she does a compartmentalizes in that moment.
Yeah,
which is the only thing. It's like, I mean, I'd be on the floor.
I'd be frothing at the mouth, just like crying.
It's like, you go ahead, I'll catch up in like 10 years, or I'll die, whatever.
Yeah. It's definitely like I was not expecting the series to be about existential horror, and like because I remember Aaron, you were talking to me like you were mentioning when you first started like throwing this out on like Twitch streams and stuff, where it's like it's very anti-establishment and stuff, and actually it came out at a very interesting time. In 2020, or it popped up at a very opportune time, I guess, because those mentalities were very strong at the time. And this show like definitely hit very close to a lot of themes that were going on.
Yeah,
or that are still going on. Really,
when I first dipped into it after all of Aaron's enthusiasm behind it, it gave me like this weird spark at the time, being when it was like last year. I was like, oh wait, no, there's still some good stuff out there. This is really good. I'm going to tell everybody about this and feel good knowing that it's great and that they'll love it. And I then started evangelizing like Aaron did for the show. And I only got one person who pushed back against it. And I think it's because they're they're more traditional anime heads. No shame in that game. It just wasn't their cup of tea at the time. But I'm like, hey, have you gone back to check out Deca-Dence? I think now is the perfect time for you to do it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it does like it's very not maybe not like straight up traditional anime, but it definitely stays within the one of the themes that I like about anime is that it does have a lot of like it tells a story that is fairly complicated, but in a simple way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's the thing about like that always like as a kid, like growing up with anime, it kind of probably attracted me to anime in that way is because it wasn't like just like a simple cartoon. There was a much deeper story behind it. But yeah,
it's and we might this might be the next thing we get into, but it Decadence particularly presents itself, and they did a really good job of hiding all this stuff in the market. Like, I'm glad they were able to get away with that because it just looked like I think I saw online. I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, this just it's just Attack on." That's what it looks like, and I'm like, "Yes, but like no, it's not. It's so not."
It has it's like that what's that meme where like it's the arrow going over somebody's head with like the bigger themes and stuff like that, but it's like, oh cool, Attack on Titan. Deeper themes. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like I just watched the trailer for Decadence from Funimation like an hour ago to just freshen myself up on it. And yeah, there's nothing about the about the actual like the deeper thing in the story or like the deeper themes in the story. Like it focuses like the trailer focuses solely on the human struggle against the Gadol.
Yeah, and it's so nice to have a genuine surprise. Like there's a lot of content that gets, kind of spoiled online, and people just post whatever they feel like it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you stay off the internet if that's a big enough issue for you. But I just gotten so used to, especially around anime, already seeing references to stuff that I haven't even like shows I haven't even seen. Like I think I know parts of the last 3 episodes of Attack on Titan, and I don't even watch that show. Like I don't need to know, but it's in the ether. It's part of the zeitgeist. And yeah, Decadence was something that was just under the surface, waiting to be found. And I'm glad Aaron did that work for everybody else.
Yeah, you did very good work. Again, like you're the reason I watched it because I was like, oh well, Aaron really liked this show and it was telling me about it, so it's like, oh, I'll go check it out.
You hear that, Funimation? Hire Aaron
as your PR guy. Your PR guy.
Oh, your Decadence rep.
Your Decadence rep. Send him to the trade shows.
I'll put a polo on. I love a lanyard.
Get your Kaburagi cosplay on.
Oh, yeah. Have your little pipe plushie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, it'd be really funny. Just have like that as like a shoulder thing, or like even like a weird fuzzy hat.
Oh yes,
just because like it would match Pipe's whole like kind of dumb cutesiness. Yeah. My notes literally have Pipe did nothing wrong. that's
they're innocent suffer.
Yeah,
in this world.
No, that's the other. Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's like Kaburagi is not going to do is not going to stop. He's just going to keep escalating. It's like even as he's about to hit the button, he thinks about Pipe and he's like, "I'm sorry," and then like, just wipes out everything. It's like Jesus.
Like Kaburagi has his emotions like pretty much in check on like the missions that he needs to go on and the people that he needs to get on his side. Like I forget what's his friend's name who basically runs Deca-Dence.
Hang on. I got the
Nerdo.
Yeah,
really its name is Nerdo?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It could have been, man. It's an anime.
It's not Turkey.
Uptight. I just like uptight captain.
Yeah.
The
Commander Hugin. His name is Hugin.
Oh, Hugin. Yeah.
Commander of Decadence. Yeah.
The Commander of Decadence is in like this constant like thing with Kaburagi as Kaburagi's like getting back in the game. He's like, "Hey, you're not gonna do what you were doing before." And Kaburagi's like, No. I'm going to ruin everything. And he's like, "Wait, Kaburagi, are you sure you're gonna do this? Like, are you sure you want to do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Are you gonna help me?" And then he walks off, and that's it. And
yeah, exactly.
He's like, "All right, I guess I have to help this guy now."
Yeah, it's like, it's just like that kind of moments, like as they're like Kaburagi's walking away because like it's Minato not
Minato.
Hugin is another character. Is the actual commander, and then Minato is the second in command of Deca-Dence, reporting to Hugin, and is an old friend of Kaburagi.
There we go.
Yeah, and it's like it's like that scene where in the anime where like they have a division of opinion on something, and they end up parting ways, and then Minato's just like, it's like, Kaburagi, it's like, damn you, why do you have to make these tough choices for me?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And the choice is never that hard for Minato. He's just like, no, I'm just gonna go around everybody and take off these limiters and let Kaburagi do his thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, we're starting a mutiny at Deca-Dence.
Yeah.
It's like,
my boy said so. That's why.
Yeah. I do like how I do actually kind of like Kaburagi's arc a lot, because he's like, he's following the system, and then he sees like these two anomalies that aren't hurting any as far as he knows, but they're bugs. But he decides to try and hide them first, and then when like it gets hard to like hide them, he just like, you know what, fuck it, we're taking down the system because the system is wrong.
Yeah, and the system, we haven't talked about the personification of the system, like big S system is like this purple being with like the pointed shades. Like the design on that character is imposing and also cool and upsetting.
Okay, and Hugin is that guy. Okay. Yeah, that's Hugin. Yeah, and Munin,
he does not adhere to the laws or rules of the world at all. Like I think he summons Kaburagi to like the top of a mountain where he's like, "Hey, I heard you haven't been doing your job," and Kaguragi's like, "No, I haven't been doing my job." And then Hugin just murks Kaburagi in the snow.
Yeah. Just blows him up. Yeah, he's got God mode on. He's got full admin powers. Full admin powers. Just like
at the same time, Hugin is also slave to the system itself. They cannot operate outside what they've been programmed. It's like it's like we destroy the system. Like I can't do anything. Also, we planned for this, and the system will replace itself. So go ahead and blow up Deca-Dence. See if we care.
Yeah, see what we care. Nanny boo boo.
We'll just change the narrative this season. It's like, Jesus Christ.
We're just gonna have to bring the writers back tomorrow. That's all that changes.
Yeah, I'm trying to. There's another great part in the during the bug, like where they develop bugs, or not bugs, the Gadol in that weird like facility that's like directly above the bug correction facility.
Oh yes.
And there's that poor little monster, that poor little Gadol that's like always getting like, just like, he's like, it's not properly like functioning the way the scientists want him to function. So like they kick him and beat him up and stuff. And then it like evolves or mutates and just becomes the Flood and like starts corrupting everything inside of the facility. It's like, I don't feel sorry for any of these people and these scientists that were in this facility. Like, they were just being cold-hearted monsters to these things. So we're just treating them like things. So,
and it is, and then you have to remember that those humans that are doing the science are actually the cyborgs that are controlling them from the space station. So like, it's very weird. All of that is hard to like keep track of, after a while. And I just,
what I realized, it's also kind of like WALL-E to a degree, like the plot a little, like the themes of like the world, because like the rest of the world isn't really like fully fixed. They've just kind of like, the cyborgs were originally intended to fix the Earth after humanity fucked it up with garbage and pollution and stuff. And the world of Deca-Dence was supposed to be like a preserve, like to keep an arc basically for humanity. And then somewhere down the line, the cyborgs like started turning that reservation into a game.
Mm-hmm. Like a literal game preserve.
Yeah, exactly. And they the rest of the world doesn't seem to have gotten really fixed. They just kind of like live in their space station up in orbit.
What is it? I think the cyborgs eventually they literally own the rights to humanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that being a part of it. like a comment that another character made to Kaburagi. It's like, you don't own the rights to that IP, man. You can't just take it and do whatever you want.
God, that's terrible.
Even if it is a bug, it's still part of the programming that we own the rights to. So
this is late stage capitalism, or this is like far late stage capitalism.
I did watch an hour-long video about Deca-Dence and its relation to socialism.
Oh, go off, King.
Go.
That's it. It was very long, and I barely remember anything.
Well, if you can, send me a link, and I'll put it in the description below.
I'll see if I can find it again. It was just it's clearly this dude's it's his sophomore year, but he pointed me in some good in some good directions. And then I think it was on Anime News Network. We can skip ahead a hair to the very, very end.
Yes,
and how it's sort of different but the same, because the end is, instead of cyborgs hiding with the humans, they're cyborgs and humans are there together. The humans can go outside and can kind of choose what they want.
Yeah.
But there's still a system in place. It definitely seems better because there's not the lies and there's not the hidden agendas.
I feel like maybe a moral of the story is transparency. Because that seems to be what it is, because the world is better compared to what it was, at least in the series. The world is it looks like the world's, at least in the area where Deca-Dence exists, it's recovering. They're actually, and that's just because they're actually planting and actually doing not just a game where they're in a mobile fortress and fighting in a wasteland. They're actually building.
Yeah, they went from Destiny 2 to Stardew Valley, the MMO. I thought that was so cool. I thought that was so nice and uplifting, with that, again, with the knowledge that there's still the system system's gonna be thinking of some way to turn this into gamifying or whatever. But at least we see the characters that we've met, cyborg and human, hanging out, helping each other, using technology, growing crops.
Having crazy weird these weird zipline Jeep adventures in the wilds.
Yeah. Natsume is leading she's safaris and stuff.
Yeah, she's a guide. She's a wilderness guide now.
Mm-hmm.
It's what, 2 or 3 years later. Again, life is thriving.
It's the weird thing of from humanity's perspective, it went from absolutely zero choice. You didn't get to choose what job you wanted. You were assigned a position and you did the thing, to, I don't want to say the illusion of choice, but there are some things you can control within the new Deca-Dence.
Yeah, there's still a system, but at least you're not it's not a caste system now.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? It's kind of because the way they do it is there's a test that gets you to different castes and stuff like that. I just realized it's basically it's like if the NPCs suddenly became aware in Fallout 3 when you're doing the character creation, the beginning of the character creation. What is it? That Vault's test. It's
It was a
goat test. Yeah, you're doing the goats test. It's if the NPC's wait, I'm self-aware now. I really wanted to be a tunnel snake, but I have to be a janitor. That kind of sucks. I want to be an adventurer. Why does this arrow in my knee need to take precedence?
Why do I own a shop? Only one person comes in and they never buy anything.
In fact, they've stolen from me multiple times.
I have to buy, and then I have to buy back everything they stole.
Which is kind of one of the worst. One of the things that I kept thinking about throughout watching this show was the fact that living people are NPCs in this world, meaning they interact with the same douchey gears with their purple skin and all their mods and stuff that just come in and buy the basic healing items and then leave and don't really talk to them or treat them like people. And getting to see the fallout of that, where Natsume is trying to convince her friend you can help me do this thing. You don't have to just, I don't know, sweep this area forever. You can come help me fix this hole in the wall. And everybody's help you fix a hole in the wall? But we have a job to do.
Yeah. It's trying to break people, break these people, these NPCs and real human people who are in a program or they have a set program that they've been kind of conditioned to break away from their conditioned programming.
Yeah. And again, for self-preservation in that whole scene, because there are Godal still coming into that hole.
Yeah.
And it's there's only a few gears that can fight them off, and so it's Natsume has to pull together the entire community to patch the hole. It's really man, I would freak out if I saw all the NPCs in Destiny like rebuilding parts of the tower. I would love that. They deserve
it. Yeah. No, exactly. It's like, it would be like, imagine being a player in a video, like watching it play, exactly like you just said, like playing a video game and seeing the NPCs do something, like break out of their programming to actually make some changes on their own in the world. So it's not just this static world. Oh, it's like, yeah. Again, like I feel like you could definitely play with that in like games and stuff, like a tabletop game kind of stuff.
Aren't we all just NPCs, man? We gotta break out and change this world.
Are you gonna sell the same Diet Cola for your entire life?
What are you gonna do? Get a job and a house and kids like your parents before you, man? Are you gonna do something?
Wake up, sheeple.
That's why I listen to Joe Rogan.
Oh God!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Somebody connected their Spotify to the Deca-Dence.
Can't wait till he goes exclusive. Really show those capitalist assholes.
Oh God! Yeah, Jesus Christ. I'm just trying to think of where we want to go next with this.
I'm cool with going to plot growers because I feel like you were before I goofed. You were headed that way.
Okay, yeah, we'll go. Well, yeah, we'll go to. All right, so this is the segment called Plot Growers, where we take the fertilizer of a story and try and see if we can make something grow out of it. That's the premise. So yeah, for me, like while watching the show, 100%, this is an Eclipse phase like fodder. Like you could use gate crashing. In fact, I've actually listened to a couple of games from some people online, specifically the Rag Nerd Rock podcast that run a couple of like scenarios in Eclipse phase where they go through the gate. The gates are basically like stargates essentially to like other places in the universe because because Eclipse phase setting is like very hard science, and this is kind of the one way they've worked around. It's alien technology, so it can just send us across across light years to different planets and stuff. And there's the characters go to this planet where there's a bunch of little hovels and a little like medieval or feudal period like development town of like little creatures who talk about the giants, like their forefathers were the giants that came through the doorway in the cave that you just came out of. And they had to escape the giants fled the hearth to and stay away from the Titans. And now they settle here. We've been here for generations. But there is a monster on the far side of the mountain, like over by at the horizon, and it's been like we have to like give a sacrifice to it. So the characters realize that these people that live in this hovel are people who fled Earth, the hearth, from the Titans, these giant like alien war machine things. And they fled through one of the gates in the Sol system to this planet, and the reason why these creatures look different from humans is because they've made like different different bioforms for themselves to survive on this planet. And the big monster thing is just an infected Titan creature that chased the humans through the gate and is now like kind of just roaming around and control and kind of like experimenting, like using this whole like feudal period development like scenario as an experiment of some kind. And even if you want to go like if you want to go with like the whole thing of like it's a simulation, you could also just have it be like, yeah, you're playing through an Eclipse phase game, and then you realize that your entire existence is inside of a simul space, like a digital world, and you're in an MMO that some assholes in the Eclipse phase universe are playing, because your mind has been illegally trafficked by some corporate assholes or by some underworld faction, and you're being psychosurgeried to be NPCs in a game.
So it sounds like a movie that's going to be released in 2 years.
Yeah,
starring Ryan Reynolds.
You know it, baby.
That one.
Oh my god, yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy.
I'm also kind of thinking of like the movie Gamers with Gerard Butler.
Oh no.
For the people who brought you Crank and Crank 2 High Voltage.
Yeah. Oh, stop. Oh, both of you, stop it.
the indentured servitude of being an MMO NPC or or a playable character for somebody.
Oh man,
God, it's so that was such a gross movie.
Gerard Butler. Oh, what a guy! What choices he's made in his career.
Yeah. I remember when you were the love interest and antagonist in Tomb Raider 2.
Oh, stop! Oh, that Arctic scene, it tore my heart up.
Or when you were when you were the best friend of the main character from Reign of Fire. I love that movie so much, unapologetically. But yeah, no. It's. I mean, we do like. Tell me those aren't like giving you guys like the vibes of Decadence, and at least like the themes of Decadence.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a
like if Decadence did a season 2, I would hope that it would be just what you described.
Yeah, the system has degraded again, but it's like in a different way.
Yeah, the system is degrading, and it's like looking for like a new game area. Finds one of those like simul-space jumps, goes over there with like a couple of humans, starts it all again, and like then you start seeing ads in Decadence world for this new game. Oh,
yeah, the new continent.
The new continent, yeah.
God, that's the expansion pack of like it's like, all right, so we're going to Pandera or Pandaria. It's like, oh god.
There is or it becomes a courtroom drama because Kaburagi's getting sued now that he's back.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he survived. Yeah,
right.
because he came back.
Copyright infringement.
Mm-hmm.
the legal troubles of this weird cyberpunk transhumanist world.
I'm just a simple Southern cyborg lawyer.
You know that character's going to be like a chicken or a rooster. It's like a weird little, like he's got like the little like rooster fringe on his head.
Mm-hmm. My client, Mr. Kaburagi, is it?
He's also the what your lawyers from Kame House Party.
Yeah,
yeah.
What? Huh?
What?
Continuity. Bye-bye.
Your Honor, if there is no pipe, you must not ignite him on fire, which is what the punishment here.
Your Honor, Natsume, I bring Natsume to the stand.
She's just like, what? Like she's just looking around, like kind of befuddled.
Completely oblivious. She's like, wait, what? And then somebody has to say, oh, they used a pun with your name in it. And she's like, a pun?
She's just crying.
Nani?
Y'all remember that scene where she was doing her training and she just had a big belly full of water and then she spit out all the water?
Yeah, I remember that.
It was funny.
Oh God. Yeah. That would definitely. Yeah, man, I'd find that kind of interesting. Like doing that in like, having that like, all right, we're playing Eclipse Phase. It's a courtroom drama about somebody who broke an MMO to free a bunch of trafficked egos inside of the MMO that the corporation was using. Like they
were technically
they were indentured servants. Like they were indentured employees of the corporation, which in Eclipse Phase that happens because there's millions of digital minds that had to flee Earth when like the Titans attacked. So they all went into cold storage, and the only way you can get out of cold storage is to sell yourself into a corporate entity to get a body.
Oh, snap, crackle, and pop. Look, I think Eclipse Phase is definitely 100% a plot grower for this, but also I would also just Aaron and I have been playing Outriders. And Aaron, what if we just mapped Outriders to Decadent? Like similar gameplay mechanics, but instead of like everything that you're fighting in Outriders, it's the Godal for a while.
Mm-hmm.
God. Yeah, you could easily do that in an RPG.
Like I think that would be my pitch for a plot grower, and just like, hey, let's turn this video game into a real video game.
And then, you'd have to get a little meta where the NPCs start talking kind of funny, calling you by your username.
Yeah.
Hi there, Crazon76. wait,
what?
That's
my name's Kaburagi. What are they doing?
It's like
you pick you're at a conversation, you choose your response, and then the NPC, their response doesn't quite match up.
Oh, it's like in Legend of Zelda. Hi there, Zelda. When it's Link.
Yeah.
Because it's the Legend of yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Like hi there, Smorfle. Just like because they just like wrote like put a bunch of words down for their character name.
Oh yeah, they can't quite read it.
Yeah. Smurgle, a fine family, an ancestral family name for this character. It's like
You start getting messages on Steam that are from NPCs.
it's like, hey, what's going on? Hey, we got some discounts at our shop now.
What? No.
It's like, hey, just wondering, like, when you're going to come back to your house? We've been like, it's looking your lawn's looking a bit harrowing. Like, you may want to come by your house at some point. Are you okay? You've been gone a long time. It's like, meanwhile, like you haven't been playing the game for like 3-4 weeks,
and then you get like an urgent message. We need your help. Jeez, like you're the only one who found this one weapon in the game or in this area, and we needed to take down this enemy that's weak to it. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Vince,
I'm waiting for the Destiny characters to do that to me because I've been playing for so long. Like me and Zavala just like hang out on the weekends, and I'm waiting to get a text on my PlayStation app from Zavala being like, "Hey man, you okay? You haven't done a strike playlist in a while. That's kind of wrong with you, is it?"
That's me with Warframe. It's like I started playing Warframe pretty heavily this week, and it's just like I'll take a break from it, and like I just imagine like one of the characters. It's like operator. What? I was like, you've been awfully quiet. Are you dead? Have I forgotten to get the life support in your orbiter?
Yeah, like stuff.
Yeah, it's just like that kind of thing. It's just like the NPCs miss you.
Yeah,
or it's like urgent. Yeah, that sounds like an anime in of itself. Honestly, it's just like
it's all the. I mean, I know it's very rebooty.
Oh yeah, no reboot. Yeah, so I in my notes I do have a thing of like similar vibe series in this, and yeah, reboot is definitely one of them because incoming game.
This fun thing for you, this fun thing for the human or the player, is horrible for us.
It literally destroys our civilization one ward or neighborhood at a time. If we lose that game, we lose parts of our city and the people that are inside of it.
Oh no, the player has gotten good.
I feel like I think didn't Battlefield have like an online component like that? Like one of the Battlefields, like it was all the multiplayer maps were laid out on like a big world map, and if you picked a certain side or you were on a certain side for however many missions, and if your team won in like a control or deathmatch or whatever, that the map would move, so your team or side would gain more territory on the map or something. I don't know if it was Battlefield, but it's definitely an online game, and I'm thinking we incorporate that into the possible Deca-Dence game as well.
Yeah, just kind of like just showing like control, like the like territories being like kind of increasing or expanding and like
expanding or contracting and
oh god, and then actually have like NPCs like that have popped up in claimed areas, like showing maybe like resentment for being taken over, like basically like applying real real reactions that like people would have to being taken over, and not just like or a couple like a majority of the people are just like, yes, I am now the red color. I was blue before. I was blue last week, but the zone is now red, therefore I am red. Whereas
here are the red items today.
Yeah, then we have like car bombs or like the equivalent of like terrorist attack, like guerrilla warfare between like people who don't want to be that territory. It's like, ooh, that's again horror.
This is horror, and it's there. But I would love to go into a game and an NPC being like, "Hey, where were you the last time the enemy came through here? I lost half my gear that I usually sell you." Like.
Yeah. Oh god, I feel like that might even be a good like hack for red markets to a degree. Just like you pop into an enclave. It's like, man, we had an infestation. The market's dry right now because I had to sell off a bunch of gear, or I had to surrender a bunch of gear to a faction.
Yeah. So if you want that gear back, you better get out there. I
mean, I know there are like these. I think what's their type? Survival games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Rust and 7 Days.
Yeah, those are but like the world's living, like, and if you don't visit enough, your stuff gets wrecked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's already a genre, which is not a genre that's interesting to me. That sounds so stressful.
Oh,
That I
yeah,
have to
no,
keep
I
playing.
understand. Yeah, like I have no like. I'll stick with Minecraft, thank you. Until Minecraft goes that route, and then I'll just be like, no.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely like I definitely feel that. Yeah, the only other ideas I have are basically like take a traditional D&D or fantasy RPG, and then reveal like 2 or 3 sessions in that you're all like it's like, all right, guys, so here's your character sheets for basically like dirty world, like either like a dirty world or like a modern kind of setting thing with no powers at all. It's like, all right, so this is your actual character because you're actually a player in an RPG in an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
Or like for Call of Cthulhu, like because Call of Cthulhu, it's got Cthulhu Dark Ages where you play in like the medieval times as a Cthulhu investigator, and then like you just you just grab that character sheet from your player and hand them a character sheet for like Cthulhu Future. It's like, no, you thought you were playing Cthulhu Dark Ages, you're now playing. You were actually this character who's been playing an MMO or been playing in this world.
That sounds like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Like sign me up for that D&D game right now.
Yeah, I was actually thinking because like I have a book from Trail of Cthulhu called Cthulhu City, where the creators like the campaign set. It's basically a one big world setting where all of the Cthulhu towns of like the fiction and stuff are smashed into one big metropolitan area, and people and like the citizens just like they don't know anything. Like they know of America beyond, but they never leave. And I feel like that is a good setting to like have like be the reveal that like you're just in this like giant dome of a city sprawl for like a Yithian or MyGo like virtual experiment or social virtual experiment on humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not even on Earth anymore. You're on some like giant bio city ship that is modeled after Earth. It's that Star Trek Voyager episode where the aliens have created a virtual like San Francisco to train to be human so they can invade Earth.
There we go. Now we're talking. I love that.
All right, I forgot. I was wondering. Wait, I hope that there's some Trekkies in this chat.
No, you've pulled them out. They've all awakened. They're like, oh yeah. No, we get that now. Yeah, we're on board. We fully understand.
Yeah, what is it? Species? I can't remember the species, but it was like species something. But and it was like from another dimension.
Mm-hmm. It was always those interdimensional beings that were like, hey, I'm just gonna run a bunch of experiments. Hey, Enterprise, you like other enterprises coming from different areas of time? Here they are. It's like,
or the Voyager episode where they go into the holodeck, and then like they go through a rift during warp travel, and they go to they pass through a dimension. They cross through a dimension where to them holograms are real and flesh and blood things are the simulation.
Yeah. You got it. Every time there's an anomaly and you're in the holodeck, get ready because you are going to be the odd man out.
Yeah, always a horror time.
They're always bad.
This isn't horror-y, but there could be within a role-playing game, you make one player the Kaburagi.
Oh yeah. I like that.
He's the secret
Secret
bug.
Kaburagi?
Mm-hmm.
See, I've done that. I've done that in a campaign that didn't go very well, but I did only because we never finished it. But I did have a plant and it's funny because like he was the player we had in our D&D game that was always the villain. Like the GM always took him aside and it's like, hey, can you be the villain for this? Like the double crossing player. and like I'd seen him firsthand as a player in a couple of games do it where he turned out to be the villain. And then when it was my turn to run a game, I was like, hey, Dr. Leviathan, could you come over here for a second? So I want to make your character the Wesker of our Resident Evil style kind of game. And he was like, is this because I have a trend of backstabbing our players? Like, yes. It's like, fair enough. All right.
God, getting pulled aside to say, hey, you want to be Wesker?
Yeah, basically. The way we had it planned out was that like, so they're like an organization that's dealing with this like biological warfare thing, i.e. a Resident Evil sort of situation. But he was like from the evil like oversight or like the evil paramilitary oversight shadow government that was like monitoring the situation and seeing what they could use from this like bio outbreak. And the rest of the players are just a search and rescue crew. So, and we actually had parts where like I would text message him during the game, and then like I would be the one that has to drive him, like, because he lived in another town, so I'd be the one that would drive him to his house after the game and stuff like that. And so while we're out after the game or before the game, we'd like plot and like theme on the car ride.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I might have to come revisit that game someday because it was a very early in my GMing career and was very high level sort of like GM idea or like storytelling idea of like trying to pull it off. I almost did it in a Mass Effect game I ran recently where one of the characters touched a piece of technology that transferred their brain or their consciousness to a server, and then something in the server transferred into their body. And so I just texted them and was like, "All right, you're no longer you're this other character." And for 2 sessions, he was the player was a different this alien presence inside their original character's head.
Question:
Yeah,
did Mass Effect ever actually do that?
No, but
because they should. That seems like a side quest.
So I based that off of 2 things from Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect trilogy. It was in a Mass Effect Andromeda campaign I ran recently, which is going to be on my One Less Die podcast pretty soon if when this gets posted. Plug. But yeah, so there's a virtual race that is mentioned in Mass Effect 2 that they, instead of like they couldn't really evacuate their planet when it was about to get hit by a supernova of their star. So like 5,000 years into the past of Mass Effect, they uploaded themselves to server ships and just escaped their solar system. And they've been just drifting through space for 5,000 years in a virtual server system. And they were picked up or like discovered by the Solarian in Mass Effect, and it's like it's a news article in like Mass Effect 2. Like it's one of those like Cerberus news articles that pops up when you're in the start menu.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that idea of like that race, and then the idea of like since all the technology in Mass Effect is like all the aliens like get their like advanced technology from like the Protheans, the race that came before. It's mentioned in Mass Effect 3 that the Prothean technology is based around like basically like psychometry and like touching an object to see it to get insight on things and like to get information from it. So that's how I based their technology, is that they basically just you have to touch the object in order to transfer yourself to it. So yeah, I just had like it's a weird alien technology MacGuffin that transfers minds or swaps minds, because that virtual race, when they were discovered, people were volunteering their bodies so that they could leave these servers and like experience the world in a physical form.
Wow.
Yeah, and again, it's mentioned like in a paragraph.
And that's just a paragraph.
Yeah,
that's how good Mass Effect could be.
Yeah, we could have had transhumanity. Like we could have had eclipse phase ideas of like simul spaces and like sleeving it to different bodies and stuff like that. But instead, we got a red and green and blue ending.
Yeah, you got red, green, blue. You could be boy or not boy shepherd.
Yeah, you could be femme shep or boy shep, and only human. Even though apparently, according to BioWare, they've had the technology to give us other races for
I heard about
characters,
that,
but it didn't fit the storyline.
I don't know. I don't know what BioWare is doing.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because Mass Effect 4, the trailer just got released for it. And there is like kind of not a hint, but there's like they show 3 characters off in the distance that a character looks to, and you don't see who they are. Like one could be kind of humanish, one's Krogan, and one's possibly a Turian or a Solarian. And I'm like, is that hint? I'm hoping that might hint that like in this next game, since it takes place like so far into the future of Mass Effect of like the original galaxy, that you can play as non-human, because I'd like to have variety, guys.
Or at least like if you could pick your playable character from your party, yeah, and like experience the story as each of those 3. Sorry, that's our Mass Effect minute.
Yeah, I was like, I was gonna stop us short left. I was like, back to Deca-Dence.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine. I just sat politely.
Aaron's just like, guys, we were talking about Deca-Dence a second ago.
Oh, I've just never. I played like 3 hours of Mass Effect 2. It just.
Oh.
I spent the least amount of time with that console generation, I think.
That's fair.
Yeah,
it's a good series though, and the Legendary Edition's coming out soon.
I know. It's like, dare I?
You should dare. as a Mass Effect fan or as a follower of the Mass Effect Church, you should.
The house that Shep built.
Exactly, the Church of Shepherd.
It's. I mean, yeah. The big horror is simulation.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Is the idea that idea of
what is real?
Yeah. Well, the horror simulation is perceived value and worth. I think a lot of it is because it's like the idea that like, oh, we're in a simulation. You know, it can get kind of Nietzsche-esque, even though I've never read Nietzsche, so I don't know. I'm shooting in the dark here.
Yeah, it's like pop culture osmosis.
Yeah,
for me.
But it's like if it's a simulation, what has meaning? And like
or like what's free will if we're in a program sort of thing, right?
What is my life my own? What I've been doing has no inherent value because it's not, quote unquote real.
Yeah.
And so I think back to and that's if you're gonna pull this on your players, I think you do pull a page from Deca-Dence's playbook and do it quick.
Yeah.
Or
I could not imagine if the series was like 4 episodes, even like of not telling us that this was all a simulation, and then like the other 4 episodes of the show is the fallout of discovering that. Like as a like not I don't mean like I mean like if we as the viewer had to sit through 4 hours not 4 hours, 4 episodes. I think they did it in a suitable amount of time, like not wasting any time.
Yeah, they didn't let you. I think that's a good point. There's no wasted time, and because of that, all of the choices are like, yeah, we made a choice. You okay with that? Good, because we're going, and so you don't have like time to like think about how this isn't working with what you already know. Because and then they also do a great job of tying everything together through like certain characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you also see like because you also see like the intrigue like on the other side, like because you're watching like as a viewer, you know that the world is different, is not the way it should be, and you're watching. It's like watching from a horror standpoint. It's like watching a character's doomed plot. Like we all know what's gonna like that something's bad's gonna befall these characters. They don't know yet.
You reveal the simulation to one player.
Yeah.
And they decide what they do with that.
That's very Deca-Dence.
That's it.
Yeah, you decide who's Kaburagi.
It's like, all right, whatever. Yeah, you do whatever you want to do with this.
You've been given like you slide them an envelope, and inside it's just like you're in a simulation. Do what you.
And like I know my players would like the first chance they get, they would just like, yeah, no guys, here all right, I'm just gonna take you guys over to this like weird location that no one like everyone says is bad, and I'm just gonna show you the worst of it. Like they'd immediately like next session that would be what would happen.
Pick the player that either for that to work, I think you have to either one make the other player characters, they have to have very good lives.
Yeah,
they have to have like loved ones. So there has to be something that binds them to the.
That's what.
Or you pick the player that's like will like think about that for a while, or like is just evil and will hold on to it at the right moment.
Yeah, the Dr. Leviathan player, Dr. Leviathan. It was one of my original co-hosts on Al Dente Rigamortis before he had to leave due to life stuff. But yeah, he was definitely the player that like we all went to. Is like, hey, do you want to be evil? Do you want to be the secret backstabber?
Hey, we're gonna burden you with this literal infinite knowledge in this world. Here you go.
Yeah, we're gonna give you here's your like this is a tabletop game. You get to decide what to do with this information I'm giving you.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
just what we've talked about thus far, getting these elements into an Eclipse phase or a traditional D&D campaign would make me sit for as many hours as it took to get done, because I would love all the twists and turns, especially with like the hidden elements of like who is and is not in, letting those characters like pull each other in, you know?
Yeah, like okay, so like run a horror game where like the characters discover that there are people in their town, or like so you run a couple of games in a town and like get them to like invested into the town and like the people in this town, and then drop some hints that some of the people here are actually like kind of reveal a little bit about this, like that they're in a system of some kind, and reveal that some of the people among them are part of the system, but don't tell them who it is, and just add that layer of paranoia. And see how the characters like try and like sniff out the the Among Us suspects, like who's sus?
Yeah, who's sus?
Or do they burn down the entire goddamn town in their search? Like just watch, like give them that little tidbit of information that like you're in you reveal that you're in a simulation, and there are people among you in this town that are admins, but don't tell them but they're not sure who is an admin and not. So then you basically just watch the witch hunt happen.
I mean, that's the most horrifying aspect of it, is when that paranoia builds to the point where accusations are flying around, and then the whole community is on top of itself. Yeah,
but I feel like you need to like establish like sympathy pets, basically, like characters in the town, like make them love the town, I guess is really what it is first, and then reveal the nightmare that you're in some kind of simulation.
Have you ever seen, speaking on what Vince talked about, have you ever seen the Twilight Zone episode, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street?
I have not.
I don't
maybe I have, but I don't recognize.
It's very Cold War. It's basically, there's this one street, this is just a typical suburban street, very, Eisenhower America. And then like all the power cuts out, and then a bunch of weird mechanical things, and then I'll spoil it, but like all the neighbors essentially turn on each other because this one kid presents the idea of like, oh, maybe it's alien. It's like, yeah, I've read this story about these aliens that did this, and everyone's like, well, Bob's an alien. It's like, no, Joe's an alien. Look, he has power. And then at the end, it's like, it is aliens, but they're like, hey, look, it's easy to mess with humans. You just gotta put a little paranoia in them, and like, very, blatant Cold War McCarthyism commentary.
That would be, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, such a good one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. It's so good.
Yeah, that would be a great Cthulhu dark game. Like just like Super Rules Light. Like you're just like introducing your characters as townsfolk, and then the simple premise, the power goes out, and then you have a character that just brings up that like some people are not who they say they are, maybe, or like add like the idea of like, oh, maybe we're in like some kind of maybe there's some kind of glitch in the system. Wait, what? And then they just walk away.
Is that too much?
Yeah.
The simulation is that there's no simulation.
It was just a weird social experiment by aliens or the government.
I mean, technically, from a dictionary standpoint, yes, a simulation, but not in the way we traditionally think of simulations.
Yeah. Or it's like the War of the Worlds broadcast all. Like, because that was a real life horror story, horror situation.
Yeah, when I learned about how that War of the Worlds thing like caused a lot of problems for a lot of people, and like that was
it was before we learned not to trust what was being told to us either through like radio or TV.
Yeah, oh man, that wow, yeah, the Twilight Zone, that we're a horrifying species that loves to torment each other.
Yeah, the best horror is usually human horror. By best, I mean terrifying.
I mean, here's the horrifying thing I did in college, because I'm a psychology major. I made people take a survey and then eat pizza to see what. I said, this pizza is totally real. You're definitely going to get it after you do the survey.
There was no pizza. The cake was a lie.
Yeah, the cake was a lie, and I got a B on that assignment.
Well, you didn't give your professor pizza.
I didn't give my professor pizza. She was so mad.
Oh God! So on the creepypasta side of things, this series also did kind of remind me of we did a creepypasta in 2020, or we covered one called Deleted Software, and And the premise of that one is basically this guy named Adam worked in a regular day job. His wife Evelyn, or his girlfriend Evelyn, texts him occasionally. And then as it goes on, like he goes to like he takes her to like the spot in the woods where they first met when they were hiking. And as the story, like they go there and there's like this weird light over them, like a brilliant light that kind of flashes, and then it cuts back to like the next day, or like a couple of days later, and he's back at work, and his girlfriend Lilith or Lily is bugging him, and John, his boss, is talking to him, and then he starts realizing that like, no, Lily's not my girlfriend, Evelyn is, and he starts getting very paranoid about it. Like he knows that like his where Evelyn's house is, and it's not, Evelyn no longer exists, and Lily's still badgering him. He goes to the spot in the woods where he met where he met Evelyn for the first time, and he comes across a barrier of trees. Like he physically can't pass through this section of trees, but he's trying to. And he eventually does like get through it or something like that. But then the light comes back again over him. And then he wakes up in a dark space. And there's this old man there talking about how this iteration has failed. The old man thought it would work this time, but clearly the iteration couldn't get over the deletion of software. And he realized that it's basically just a program sort of situation with God and Adam and Eve. Like it's like, yeah, but that's what it basically turns out to be. Like God is a programmer that's been going through like the Adam and Eve situation software.
That's really cool. And I'm only bringing this up because it's basically almost the exact, it mirrors this, and I don't know if there's a connection between this and that. There was that Matthew McConaughey movie.
Rain of Fire. No.
I think it was Matthew McConaughey. But it's like a beachside town.
Oh, no, not The Island. I think I know what you're talking about. It had like Anna Hathaway.
Yes, it was Anne Hathaway, and I thought it was Matthew McConaughey.
It is. I'm pretty sure. Hang on, Anne Hathaway,
McConaughey and Hathaway.
Hathaway.
Serenity. That's what it's called.
Serenity. Oh my
2019.
God.
Yeah. For a second, I was typing out Anna Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey. I'm just gonna get Interstellar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were in that movie too.
Serenity.
Serenity. Spoiler alert. The movie ends up being like, what's filmed is just NPC characters of a kid's game that he's programming the whole time.
Oh my
God. Over his parents', I think, separation or divorce that was happening. So like all the actions that were happening between Matthew McConaughey and all the other characters end up being part of this kid's program.
Oh my God. It's a game jam?
Yeah, it's like a weird like game jam that this kid was doing that they turned into a movie. Like,
oh my God.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, the reason I said game jam is because like, yeah, those are like generally like those like annual game jams that come out are usually because like they have a theme of like some kind of psychological theme, and trying to emulate that into a like a little indie video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it kind of sounded like when from that plot, that basic plot synopsis is like, oh my God, like yeah, that's it right there. Like that's like a more mundane version of Decadent Green, or like, again, of Nice Guy. I guess to a degree, Pixels.
Ooh, good God.
Another like kind of talking about like similar series that from Decadence, or like that kind of like remind me of Decadence. I mean, I'm Attack on Titan, like for just like the very bare bones like of the initial premise of just like, yeah, like, or like basically just a YA kind of thing, obviously. The one that really kind of stood out to me, though, as soon as we got to the plot of like the plot twist after episode 2, was actually a series called Scrapped Princess. And I feel like it is basically the more traditional anime narrative that Decadence breaks away from, because Scrapped Princess is a feudal era fantasy series about this princess that was formerly a princess, but is now like in hiding because she's got special powers, and her two adopted siblings are helping her like escape away from like the big bad like rulers of the land. And then like halfway through the series, spoilers for Scrapped Princess.
Go for it.
You halfway through the series, it's like there's dragons and there's like and there's these like weird demon beings, and then it's revealed that it's not like a feudal fantasy era world. It's actually like in the far future, and aliens took over Earth. But rather than slaughter out all of humanity, they took a triangle pie piece out of the Earth as the prison for humanity because we had gotten too good and too badass in the galaxy. So they just like a bunch of aliens just got banded together, wiped us out to a small percentage, and then that small percentage is now imprisoned generationally on this pie piece of Earth that's in orbit around the actual Earth, and all those dragons and like and demon things that have been like in control of like the actual like kingdoms and stuff. Yeah, they're actually just like alien AI software that are the wardens of this prison.
I see.
And the reason why Scrap Princess is significant and why her powers, like she has powers, is because she's a glitch, or because she's like she's kind of like an anomaly in the system. So kind of harkens back to Deca-Dence a little bit with like Natsume's kind of glitch ability, or like her like the thing that I don't think we actually touched on is the reason why she's a glitch is because she died for like 2 seconds, for like a few minutes, and then the system unregistered her or took her off the registry.
Yep.
And then when she was revived, the system didn't put her back on or put her back in. Yeah, so Scrap Princess definitely reminded me a little bit of Dot Hack Signs as well, just with the whole like again like the blurring of the line between reality and a game. The Matrix to a degree. Yeah. Digimon kind of just again what we were talking about earlier with like the art design and stuff of the Godal, and again the whole virtual world sort of situation. We haven't covered it on the show like on El Dente Rigamortis yet, but there's a series, or there's like a series of like images and like stories kind of behind them called the Back Room, where like somebody finds the back room of reality, and it's like just these banal hallways and like office spaces, that like empty office spaces that are like somewhere where they shouldn't be. Like you like find this door and you open it and it goes into this office space that clearly shouldn't be there, because there's just open like there's just like it's just a wall, like a thin wall on the other side, and there's like just air on the other side according to the rest of reality. But as soon as you go through this door, you go into like this back room area of like, and it kind of like ties in or connects to the whole thing, the whole that conspiracy theory that the universe is just a hologram. Like beyond soul system, where we're just in some kind of like a virtual prison. Yeah, those are like from the creepypasta side things, and just some other extra like shows and stuff that kind of gave me that came to mind while I was watching Deca-Dence.
I'm gonna throw one more in here, and it's not the entire. Well, I guess no, technically it is the entire show, but specifically, I think the like video. I'm putting this in quote. The video game part of Hunter x Hunter is very, I think, would fit right on with this, because it's a video game, and within the confines of the island that the game takes place on, Greed Island is the game. It makes you think that the characters are in a virtual space. Aaron, I don't know if you're this far into.
I sure am not.
Oh, dang it!
That's fine. I'll forget about it by the time I get to it.
I think you will as well. But the Greed Island arc is really good because it does just that. But instead of it actually being virtual, the characters at the end learn that all this stuff was real, and it was all using like weird hunter magic, and all these like playing cards were actual items that the hunters collected. So that part of Hunter x Hunter, because is very much in line with this as well, very similar. Which is Greed Island. It's a rad time. Aaron. You're gonna love it or hate it. I think you might love. Aaron's gonna love like 60% and then hate a bunch of the other parts of it.
Is Hunter x Hunter like a One Piece status series where it's like super like goddamn long, or still ongoing?
So it's still ongoing, but I think it's been on hiatus because it got rebooted. Like I think there's like a 1990s version of Hunter x Hunter, and then the 2011 version, and the 2011 version is getting a new season. I saw somewhere online for 2022.
Okay.
I believe the mangaka has medical issues as well. I think, and that's why there's like differences and like things are kind of slow or
okay.
It's not like consistent.
Because there are volumes, there are new volumes that you can get, but the anime has slowed down.
Yeah, I remember picking up like volume 1 or 2 from an anime convention up here, like 10 years ago, and I was like, "Oh boy, this sounds like a really good series." And then I looked online of how many volumes I had to collect. And I was like, "Oh, I barely was able to manage like scrounge up enough money to get the entire series of Shaman King when it first ran." So. And that was 30 that was 30 volumes. Ooh. Yeah, some of those series, like they go on just they're the song that never ends.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've covered a lot here on Deca-Dence. Unless do you guys have anything extra to talk about for Deca-Dence?
Again, if you're listening to this in particular, and you know who Aaron and Vince and Review Cultist are, please go watch the show.
Please.
I mean, there's still stuff that we haven't covered in
the
show as well. And there's still probably there's still some surprises here and there.
Yeah, we left a few surprises.
It's 13 episodes. Come on.
Oh, it's okay, right. It's 13
if you watch the Snyder cut, you can watch this.
Yeah, if you sat through that.
Hold on, doing the math.
It was easily bingeable. Like I binged it in like at least about 2 days. Like I think I watched 7 episodes the first day, and then I watched 7 episodes the next day. Like it wasn't that hard.
The whole series is probably half an hour longer than the Snyder cut. You can do it.
So it's 5 hours rather than 4.5.
Just add an extra hour in your day. Budget. Figure it out. I'm not here to tell you how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying tell your loved ones that goodbye, I'm leaving you all so I can watch an anime. You
can watch it casually. You don't have to watch it all in one sitting, but it's not going to take. It's not a Naruto.
Oh God! Don't get me started on how to watch Naruto.
Since our last talk, guys, I did sit down and start rewatching watching it since like the one time I tried watching through the series back in college, and I got maybe an arc farther than I did when I was in college. And that was the end of that big test in the woods. Like,
yeah, after that ends at Naruto, I think you could literally go skip to the last 6 episodes.
It's that much fluff.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. There are very few consequential moments that happen in Naruto's existence or story there. So that Shippuden is where Naruto gets real good. And also the middle of Shippuden is where Naruto gets real dumb. So it's like I didn't think that was possible. Look, there's tiny Rasengans and shit that happen. It's fun. Yeah, I know. I said words. I could still just say more words that would make no sense and bother you and bother me because they bothered me when I watched it.
One day we'll do an anime Rigamortis where we talk about Naruto and how we can make that horror, because there are definitely some horror things in that series. But that's gonna be
fun with that.
Yeah, I think we can leave Aaron out of that one.
Yeah, that is a multi-parter for another time.
That would be like a Vince takeover. The most terrifying thing is I just sit down and talk to your audience about Naruto.
It's just the Captain America. It's like, so you started watching Naruto and you're a creepypasta fan.
Exactly.
Oh God. Yeah. But yeah, I think there's definitely stuff like I don't think we haven't spoiled anything like a whole. We've spoiled some things about Deca-Dence, but there's still a lot in there that's worth checking out. Like there's definitely moments that we haven't touched on in that series that I think are still worth revisiting, like rewatching the series. And again, like it's hella existential horror, while also being anti-establishment and like anti-commercialism to a degree, or it's very much in the line of a sci-fi series where that uses is a social commentary on.
I think that's
real world.
Very
themes.
well said.
Just pulling that from my old sci-fi college course. Yeah. So yeah, we found. Yeah, I guess that's the episode. Guys, where can they find Kame House Party?
You, Vince, I have to do my individual plug.
Yeah, do your individual plug, and then I'll plug for both of us.
Okay. I am on a podcast called Thinking Too Hard About Anime. I'm not only on it, I'm the co-host of it, along with Noah Carden, who's been on the show before. Yes.
Yes, actually, when he was doing Maple Syrup Blood Money, I had him and his co-host
Kyle.
Kyle on the show. Sorry, wow, I apologize, Kyle.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
but we do a podcast called Thinking Too Hard About Anime. By the time this is released, we will be in season 2, which is much different from our first season, where we just watched every episode of Cowboy Bebop and talked about it, got to the history of it, and did some analysis. This season, we are looking into the life and times of Hideaki Anno, the creator of Neon Genesis Evangelion. But we are not covering Neon Genesis Evangelion. We're covering all of his earlier animation works, his live action. We're getting deep into him because there's a lot of stuff that he's done that people don't really know about that we want to bring to light. And we are calling it Hideaki Anno Domini.
Nice.
Snap.
Are you guys going to be covering Shin Godzilla?
Yes. We'll probably end the season with Shin Godzilla and then hopefully Shin Ultraman. If that decides to come out. I know it got pushed back.
Yeah.
But that's me personally. I'll let Vince handle the rest.
And then for more Aaron and Vince content, you can go to kamehouseparty.com, search for Kame House Party. That's KameHousepparty, wherever you get your podcast. Because and we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the social medias. And then we also have a Patreon if you feel like you'd like to donate and help support the show financially. If you're able, you can head on over to patreon.com/Kame House Party, and you can sign up for any of our tiers. We got a $5 tier where you get access to the KHP pregame, where we just take a few minutes before we record our normal episode, to talk about whatever we want. I think as the time that we're recording this, a big kaiju movie has come out, and we talk about that on the Patreon. And then also at our $10 tier, you get access to our monthly live stream where you have voting rights to help us decide what to do for you. Then we also have a joke tier that's $9,000. But that's just a joke tier.
What, 9,000?
There it is. So you can catch Kame House Party every Tuesday. The regular podcast is free. Every Tuesday you can get it. And then if you feel like doing all that extra stuff, head on over to the Patreon and keep supporting Al Dente Rigamortis and Review Cultists, because everything it's all great.
I appreciate that vote of confidence.
It's all great.
Yep. I fully support Kame House Party and Thinking Too Hard About Anime. It got me to rewatch. Actually, you guys, I think I heard about that. I heard Thinking Too Hard About Anime, and that you guys were doing Cowboy Bebop, and I had not seen Cowboy Bebop. I had it on my shelf, but I had never gotten around to sitting around and watching it. So I watched it all before starting Thinking Too Hard About Anime, and basically just followed it along with you guys. So yeah, 100% looking I support you guys on that. Looking forward to season 2 of Thinking Too Hard About Anime.
Thank you very much. It's going to be more work, but we're ready for it.
And I'm sure one day I will muster up the courage to do a 1-minute roundup in the cultist voice for y'all.
Ooh!
Oh, you said it on a podcast. It's got to come true.
Legally binding.
I've been thinking about it since the new year. Since you guys started doing getting a lot of them in, a lot of the 1-minute roundups, it's oh god, it'd be really funny if I just did the cultist voice and did a cultist roundup.
Here's a free one for you and or your listener. You David Lynch it. You record it backwards, but then you say it backwards and then record it then reverse that, and then it's maybe legible.
Oh my god! No, I gotta.
Good luck.
Oh Jesus Christ! Okay.
Aaron out here giving out homework assignments. I love it.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh, we'd shit our we'd shit our pants on.
Oh my god!
I guess look to that audience.
Ooh.
But yeah, and if you want to get a hold of Al Dente Rigamortis or myself, you can leave us words. You can leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted, whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr. I'm on Twitter at Review Cultist. I'm basically the show's correspondent. If you'd like to email us, we have aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com, where you can leave us creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things, animes that are spooky as well, or have spooky themes in them if you think about them too hard. We'll add them to the list. We'll discuss them, watch them. We'll watch them even before we discuss them, or we'll read them and what have you. If you'd like to help support us financially, you can go to Patreon at Al Dente Rigamortis. We have special episodes, early access, extra content. Thank you for being a patron. If you already are, you're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and we very much appreciate it. It's basically a Cthulhu-y monster that we have to sacrifice money to. It's capitalism. That's what hosting bills are. So, and to you listening and the creators of these animes, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it would be like speaking into the void. Thank you immensely. So until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I've been your guest, Aaron.
And I've been your other guest, Vince.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis presents Anime Rigamortis. Sleep well.
Good night.
Nothing scary is going to happen to me.
Let's get. I was kind of. I'm not
I thought Vince was going to come spook me.
Okay.
Oh, that's my bad.
Fine.
That's
you guys should totally do.
You were like, you didn't want to disturb me. I had such a sweet look on my face.
Yeah, and I know you haven't been sleeping well.
I've been colicky.
Allergies. My boy doesn't sleep well at all.